What's up, everybody? It's Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. We're starting things off with the Vector? TIS? Vector, maybe? I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah. But it's a VTOL, little fighter type thing. Now, I will say the description mentions that this is kind of more of a proof of concept type of thing than an actual, like, something you may want to really use a lot in a day-to-day play type of thing. But actually, obviously coming from Tartaross, there's always these, really intricate, detailed stuff that I find very intriguing, so I like showing off these builds. I will admit, I don't know if I'm going to basically showcase it correctly or not, because, I tend to not do things the right way and derp things up. Now, there isn't much of an interior, obviously, because it's more of a small VTOL fighter type of thing. So I'm trying to just give you some good views of different ideas and techniques and things like that, and then we're going to work on actually seeing if we can fly this right. So let's see if we get in here. It does have a couple of the typical scripts that we're used to seeing, the damage readout and stuff like that, I think is somewhere. There it is. And the guidance system, I think, is another one. So our dampeners are off, landing gears are on. So now the dampeners are on, okay. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have here. We have the extend, retract, landing gears, and Gatling guns. I don't know. I think all of that is going to be in one button, probably. I'm not entirely sure. Come on, scroll. So let's see. If we take off, we don't need the landing gear, so if we hit 2, will this turn us into the VTOL mode or not? Oh! Oh, that's interesting. Is it auto? Oh, dagnabbit. Huh. Oh, that's cool. That is really cool. Now I get the whole proof of concept thing. So if you hit space to elevate, the thrusters push you upward, but then if you hit the W key for the WASD controls, then the thrusters actually rotate. That is really cool. I don't know how they pulled that off, actually. But that is really neat. I'm wondering how they did sensor control input like that. It's based on, like, the keys. That if you hit space... Oh, that's really cool. That could be really useful. That's a really neat idea. So yeah, that's one of the main hooks to the whole build is the VTOL system. Now I understand why, because I was like, there have been VTOLs before, but I've never seen one that auto-adjusted like that. That's really slick. I really, really like that. And then, of course, we have the 2 primary chain guns. Now, I have to admit, I don't normally play in atmosphere because I haven't done a lot of that in the actual survival type of gameplay. So this is a little weird for me flying in a planet atmosphere because it keeps pulling me down and stuff. Now this is something I would like to try, but I don't know if I'll break it or not. I'm trying to figure out what it does if you hold up, or the spacebar, and then are still trying to go forward. Okay, so it does get kind of confused. I figured it would. It's like they rotate, but then the thrusters don't really do a lot. I mean, that's to be expected. You're basically confusing the control input. And it does have other thrusters. Like, obviously, there's still ones that are keeping me afloat, kind of thing, but those are, I guess, the main ones that you're going to be dealing with. That is still a really cool idea, though. I really wonder how they pulled that off. Because it's not done by sensors. And I'm not tied into, like, a remote block or anything. Or at least not that I did on purpose. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, overall, I really like the design of the ship and stuff. It's very cool. I like all the little bits and bobs and cabling and the little wing tips, like when you do the landing gears, how the legs extend and then there's like flaps. I think that's really cool. It's a really cool effect. But anyways, that's going to do it for this one, I think. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so next up we have the Strandbeest Walker, which is a beast in terms of piston and rotor usages. So I don't know too much about this. All I know is that the original design was actually designed for real-world applications, then the builder for this one actually took it and built it in Space Engineers, or replicated, or whatever, something adapted. Adapted would probably be a better term, because there are changes made. But there's a lot of these little leg things going on, and I hope this works as well as it seems to in all the other videos that I've seen on it, because, oh, look at Doggy! I don't remember having those turned on in this world. Because I also have block damage turned on, so if this doesn't work, this is just going to blow apart into a pile of pieces, which is not going to be fun. So let's get in the passenger seat. Ooh! Ooh! It has a sensor! Well, that's... Oh, it auto picks up. That's cool. I gotta figure out how that works. That's awesome. Okay. So there's a couple of things. One, it starts in... I know this is going to sound funny, but it starts in stopped mode. Okay? Hold on. I don't have... Ah, here we go. Remote control, so we need to take control of the vessel. And now we have all of our timer block controls. Now can I... Okay, so I can't really move without the Alt key. Alright. So... this should be the stop button, the increase velocity for your left side, increase for the right, decrease for the left, and decrease for the right, also known as forward, backward, etc. Lights, piston for the seat, stay away from me, dog. Park and unpark, which I believe has to do with the pistons and such, but the stop thing is what's keeping these off. So these are supposed to display, I believe this one at least, I don't know what the other ones are for. Seriously? I do not remember leaving dogs on in this mode, or in this world file. Anyways, so the right one I think is supposed to deal with the velocity of our legs, unless it's left and right, I'm not sure. So I don't really want to unpark, I don't think, without starting it. So let's hit start. And that should turn on... Well, technically I hit stop, I guess, but... I thought that was supposed to turn on the screens. Alright, maybe not. Alright, let's go with the unpark, then. So, 9? Okay, there we go. And the pistons now disengage and lower it down to where now the legs are going to take control of the walking part. Why'd everything turn off again? The screens are off. They shouldn't be off. I did not hit a button. Okay, so when they're at the equal, they're just going to walk forward is the idea. Maybe. I gotta get a different view here. Well, I can't apparently get a different view, so that's annoying. Oh, I could leave the controls. There we go. Let's try that one. I can't get the view to scroll back, though. That's annoying. And those dogs are annoying, oh my gosh. Alright, give me just a second. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. I disabled the wolves, because I think they were damaging the thing to begin with, so that's not cool. And I also put the spectator camera in a close proximity type of thing. So, let's see. So here's our spectator camera. So let's see, we're going to do 9 to start it, which you can see the legs extend. And the pistons are going to retract. Now at this point, I'm still not seeing anything on the screens, but that's okay. We're going to do 2 and 3 to speed up the legs. which we can now see they're at 6 RPMs on each side, and it can actually walk. Now, if we were to, let's say we wanted to go up there, we would increase the left side, and it should start to turn, which is awesome. I'm hearing clanking. I don't know if it's damaging anything or not. It doesn't appear to be, but this is just kind of awesome. Like, now, granted, I mean, it says right in the description, and it should be fairly obvious that this isn't super duper, like, survival or practical type, you know, you should use this in your builds kind of thing, because I don't really know, other than maybe if you had, like, a thing on top of it for carrying things, I don't know how useful it would be. But it's so freaking awesome in terms of the, like, the concept kind of thing. And then when you're at this point, you can decrease the legs on that side, and it should go back to... They should both be at 6, which they are. So they should go back to walking straight eventually. I'm going to actually speed both of these up to see if I can get it to climb up the hill, because it seems to be falling backwards a little bit. Seems to be having a little trouble with that hill. Let me just double check. 12 and 12. Okay, we're good. And now it seems to be walking up the hill. Okay, so it's actually... It's a little inconsistent every now and again, but for the most part, it's phenomenal in its actual ability to walk over different terrain and stuff like that. It looks really cool. Though... Did I mess something up? Kind of looks like I might have messed something up. Maybe it has a hard time with this hill. I'm not sure. This hill seems to be giving it a little bit of trouble. I have no idea how this works. I'm just amazed that it works, basically. But it's a really, really cool concept in terms of kind of a, hey, it can be done kind of thing. Really, really neat. I have no idea how long this would have taken to figure out, because there is a lot of moving pieces on each of these legs. But overall, it's really cool, and I'm actually surprised that we're kind of doing it and not breaking things. Now, I don't know if I just hit stop, if it is supposed to lower the speed and stop the thing, or if it just turns it off where it is. So we're going to hit 4 and 5 to decrease both sides twice in order to lower them back to 0. So we should now be kind of at a stopping point where it's not going to be moving. And now, if we wanted to park, we can hit 8, and the landing gears retract, or extend, rather, and pick it up, which is a cool effect to keep the pistons cleared. And at this point, you could then use the seat piston, I thought. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. And that one's not on a timer block either. And let's see, we can hit 1, which should stop it. Now maybe the piston will work? Yeah, okay, so it can only work if it's stopped. And then, of course, you have your lights. Which, overall, that is a really, really cool design in terms of the whole functionality thing and showing off that different stuff can be done. So I think that's going to do it for this one, so let's move on to our last one. Alrighty, so last but not least we have the mobile mining base, which I gotta admit looks freaking awesome. It definitely has a mining feel. I love this little touch too, by the way. It's like I think it's a hydrogen thruster that then is damaged partially and you get the flame effect. We had one build at one point that used that for a fireplace, so that was pretty cool. It is pressurized in some parts of the build, so if you wanted to use it on a moon or something without an atmosphere, it is doable. And there's a few other things that I don't know if I'll notice or not. Like, I just noticed these that are like an extendable trigger alarm, alarm off, on off, reverse. Okay, so the reverse would probably lower it. You might notice that it's wobbling. That's been reported in the comments of the workshop file, but the builder doesn't actually know where it's coming from. It happened after a recent patch of the main game. So there's something that they did in the patch that's now causing it to kind of wobble a little bit. And it's been very frustrating for me actually to paste it in, because Everywhere I pasted it, it just wasn't level enough, and it kept rolling or breaking or whatever. So I finally found this spot that was a little flatter, which was kind of a breath of fresh air, to be honest. It was like I pasted it in like 5 times before it finally worked. So I can't say it's completely not the fault of the terrain either, but it has been reported in the comments and stuff. But one of the big things to this is the drilling platform, which I don't know if it's going to work great because of the wobble you're seeing there. I don't know if it'll throw it off or not, but it's supposed to be able to mine straight down about 38 meters, which is really cool, and this would be very useful in like a survival setup where you could basically just move it and let it drill some. And then, I don't know... Oh, now that's weird. I have never seen that trick before. A rotor head to a connector. That's very interesting, and I have not seen that at all. I don't know how they did that or why, but that's really interesting. Maybe it's just to keep it in line? Or is that an advanced rotor head? No. So it's not connected to anything. That's really weird. So the drills go to the containers, but then the containers, where do they go? That's what's confusing me a little bit about this. How does it get to the rest of the system? That's kind of interesting. I don't know how they're actually having that work. So we've got the refinery and the assemblers and all that good stuff, and oxygen tanks. So it's fairly self-sufficient. It is like a mobile mining base. Oh, and I just found the button here, I think. Yep. So this is going to lower the elevator type thing, I guess, or catwalk, or I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be. But that works. Actually, that works really well. So if you were on planet and didn't want to use your jetpack, it does have a system for getting up onto the base. And it does have a few, I don't see a lot, but it does have a few, you might have to make a little jump there. It does have a few weapon systems, because I've at least seen one turret there. There's probably ones over there too. Command and medical, maintenance, rest and observation is to the right, drill observation is up, and the lift is obviously behind us. Command and medical is there. It does have a landing platform in case you were using this on planet and then flying up to a mothership or something. Oh, now that's an interesting technique. It has a drop point that then leads to another drop point. I have never seen that one done before either. That's pretty cool. And we've got the connector there for you to hook up to with a small ship, a beacon for identifying. And then we've got a little platform here. I don't know what the sensor's for. Probably for the ship. It's probably to turn on the connectors. We've got the underlying conveyors that connect up the landing pad. That's pretty cool. And I'm assuming this door would take you up to the landing pad legitimately. I kind of flew up with the jetpack. And you can see this is going to be an airlock setup. So this is where pressurization would start if you were on a non-atmospheric planet or a moon. And there is an alarm, though it does seem to have a manual trigger, so I'm not sure if it has a sensor trigger or not. We have lights, gravity generator, we'll leave that on. Another airlock looking thing. I don't know if that's just a security door or if that's supposed to double as an airlock. We've got a damage report. I don't know if that means it's damaged or not, because it actually does have a red spot on it and a couple yellow spots. That could have happened when I pasted it in. Leaked vents 2, sensor detection 1, blocks hacked, turrets shooting, terminal integrity, hull integrity. So some of the damage and stuff could definitely have been from when I pasted it in, because it had a bit of a bumpy load in. You have an interior turret here, trigger alarm, so that's all kind of the same controls. Okay. And there are cryo chambers and a med bay. And I'm assuming this lead, because this would be medical and command, which we saw that. So you'd go through medical and command in order to get up to... Oh, no, you wouldn't. I did go up the legitimate way. Okay. So that's the exterior. I thought I jetpacked up there. So that's the exterior access point. Same on that side. There's more turrets. Go down this way. Rest and observation. Maintenance is under the catwalks here. That's a cool effect. I like that. So this gives you access to your stuff. Assemblers, refineries, alarm off, trigger alarm, and there's programmable blocks here. I'm assuming running all the scripts and whatnot. Oxygen generators. A readout for maintenance. Drilling platform, rest and observation, and lift. So I'm curious to see the both the drilling platform and the rest and observation area. That looks kind of interesting. Where's the access point? Oh, here it is. So here's the access point. I love, by the way, how the in-game says these are windows, and like 90% of builders use these as stairs, and they just use glass as windows. They might as well just go through and rename them, because nobody uses them for windows, or at least not very many that I've ever seen. The only part about this drill that's really having me a little perplexed is I don't know how it's getting the materials back up unless it's going through the piston system. Because none of these conveyors and stuff are connected to the actual connectors to offload the material. So it's got to be going through the pistons, and then the other stuff is just the other containers are just overflow? Not sure. So I'm guessing this is more of a maintenance access to the drilling platform than an actual, because I don't see any buttons to turn it on or anything. And then we got solar farms here. Is this going to operate the drill? Piston reverse. Pistons on off. Exterior lights. Drills on off. Okay. So if we were to turn the drills on and then extend the drill, looks like it's moving rather slow, but that makes sense. You don't want it to go too fast. Is it going at all? I honestly can't tell that. There we go. It's going. So this definitely has an industrial drilling platform kind of feel, like everybody's standing on the catwalks watching the drill, and then it's like, hey, it's going too hard, you know, pull it up, you know, stuff like that. I am just very confused about how the materials are getting from the drill to the rest of the system. Let's bring it back up. I'll turn the drills off for a second. I want to kind of see if I can get a under drill view here. Okay, so there's a conveyor connecting to the drills, and then the conveyor connects to the piston. So it's got to be going up through the piston, and then these cargo containers are overflow, because these connectors aren't actually connected to anything. And then it goes up through the pistons, and the piston goes to the conveyor drops back down through the rest of the system. Okay, that makes more sense. Small ships only. Oh, there's a little dock. That's cool. Yeah, that makes more sense. I was very confused as to how that was working. Alright, rest and observation. That's... Oh, observation's got to be up there. Alright, let's see how this goes. So I guess this is the R&R room. Trigger alarm. All that's the same. Okay, and then we're going to come up here to the observation deck, which is pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. So it's very self-sustaining. It has kind of everything that you would actually need, but it does have everything you need in more of a, what do you call it? Like an industrial kind of feel. It's not very luxurious, like there's a lot of stuff, but it has all the bare bones that you'd need if you were operating on like a survival world or something. So overall, really, really cool. I definitely like it. It has some really cool aspects to it, and overall, I like the industrial feel, like having the drill the way that it is, and with an extension crane and stuff like it's kind of a cool feel, and little landing pads and stuff is neat. So I think that's going to do it for us for this episode. Oh, wait, I did miss this, sort of. So this is probably a land vehicle area with, this is an interesting kind of hangar door thing we got going on. Okay, so it's lowering the ramp, and then I guess it also extended the airlock door. So that's kind of different. I haven't seen that used very often. So that's got to be for ground vehicles. So it even has that too. That's pretty cool. Alright, so I think we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace!